I think AI has just reached a tipping point in terms of the backlash, and I think we should talk about it. So this is a viral tweet that was recently posted, and it shows a man kicking and vandalizing a sidewalk delivery robot on a night out at a California street. Now, the overlay reads, "If you're a clanker, don't come around me." And if you know what that word means, you'll understand exactly why this is, part of the AI backlash. Now, this clip racked up basically 1 million views, many different likes and hundreds of comments of people wondering what on earth is going on. Now, this isn't an isolated incident. AI backlash has been going pretty crazy, and this word clanker is the derogatory term used for robots and AI. And it actually originated in Star Wars, and it recently has been going more and more viral. I mean, it is essentially the Gen Z/Gen Alpha anti-AI rallying cry, and even senators have used it when promoting legislation to limit AI chatbots in customer service. So I've been doing some digging around on Twitter, and I've seen an incredible amount of support for this AI backlash. I mean, if we just take a look at this tweet here, you can say, "For your info, the public AI backlash is working. Companies like Disney are avoiding using their AI works because general population noticed it's AI and we have a negative outcry. What I'm trying to say is the AI hate is working. Keep it up. Maybe we will see this tech become obsolete." That isn't just, a tweet with a few hundred likes. That has over 80,000 likes, 600,000 views, and 18,000 retweets. I think that says a lot about where we are in terms of how those outside of AI are trying to shape the conversation and how they view the tech that is potentially going to shape the next few decades. Take a look at this other tweet, okay? The death of generative AI has finally started to come, and it's going to be so unbelievably satisfying to watch it all burn. Once again, another tweet that racked up 1 million views, 6,000 retweets, 40,000 likes, okay, and 1,000 saves. Pretty crazy when you think that these people, a lot of times when you see these people tweeting, they don't have some crazy following count. It's just your standard person who's really frustrated with AI. And I'm going to show you guys another one here. And the reason I'm showing you guys this is because all of these tweets that you're seeing right now, all of them are within the last 2 weeks. And you have to understand that I've already covered the AI backlash, but when I covered it, I think it was around 6 months ago. And since then, it's actually gotten even worse. You can see someone here says, "F generative AI. Me and my homies hate generative AI. Pick up a book, read an article, engage with art made by real people. This is all shameful." So, I mean, if we're going to take a look at the incident and what is actually going on in society, I mean, it isn't really good, okay? There have been numerous announcements and, different events where individuals have literally destroyed robots. And I think fundamentally, okay, things are starting to shift for the worse. And I don't say this to be dramatic or to, strum up some clickbait. This is just based on what I've seen as the tech has progressed and gotten more and more capable. I'm only seeing the resentment grow. You can see that in this article, it talks about an autonomous Uber Eats delivery robot being kicked and toppled over in a center city on Saturday in Juniper. And there was a video where people spray painted it and they said, "Destroy me, please." And so when you think about it, okay, like a lot of people would say, okay, what is going on? It's pretty crazy. I think it is very easy to diagnose what's going on. AI is literally everywhere. All these companies are pushing it on us. It's in our email, it's in our search results, in our customer calls. I mean, when you think about it, okay, something has shifted because the protests are out, the cars are on fire, the polls are cratering, and people are pushing back. And like I said, these people aren't just Luddites, they're lawyers, they're, standard individuals who live and work in the world. And it's super interesting to see such a big divide on the most transformative technology. So what is actually going on, okay? So I don't know if you guys saw this article. I saw this article. I think it was very well written, and it's very accurate with regards to what is going on right now. You can see here it talks about Silicon Valley's tone-deaf take on the AI backlash will matter much more in 2026. And I think what they're talking about is that, people are fine with AI technology. AI is not the problem. The problem is the way that Silicon Valley markets AI is that it's this best tool that is just simply going to replace you. That is the problem, okay? The backlash is not anti-tech, the backlash is pro-human. And I think people are not realizing that this is what is driving those AI outrages, okay? People enjoy people, and people don't want to be replaced by robots and AI. And I think that makes sense. And human-made is essentially going to become a premium, which we'll talk about later. But I think people have to understand that Silicon Valley continues to get this messaging wrong, which is why we're seeing these continued outrages every time a tone-deaf product launches. The point I'm trying to make here is that people want AI to make their life easier and better, not replace every human element entirely. I mean, on February the 28th, 2026, there were actually hundreds of protesters in London that participated in the March Against Machines, and this was one of the UK's largest anti-AI demonstrations, and this was actually organized by Pause AI and Pull the Plug activists. They marched from King's Cross past many tech companies' offices like OpenAI, Google, DeepMind, and Meta, demanding a pause on advanced AI development, tighter safety regulations, and a halt to using creative work for training. You know, they essentially were really frustrated with what these companies are doing. And I mean, it isn't just in the UK. I mean, I'm not sure if you guys saw this, but it was pretty crazy. I've seen, you know, this happen more than one occasion, several occasions. And in September 2025, a man named Guido held a 30-day hunger strike outside Anthropic's headquarters in San Francisco, consuming only vitamins and electrolytes. And he says that these systems have the potential to become powerful enough, even without consciousness, to control the world. And days later, a filmmaker also launched their own hunger strike outside of Google's DeepMind London office. So I think you've got so many different vectors for individuals to be upset with AI. I mean, you've got the people that are going to lose their jobs. You've got the people that are worried about this technology being so smart that it's actually an existential risk. AI is currently being attacked on so many fronts, but I do think that there is this, you know, entire other crowd that really just enjoys AI, is using AI, and wants to see it prosper. And I really do find that interesting. And the craziest thing as well is that if we look at some of the extreme cases is where, you know, the data center strikes are now starting to take impact. I mean, in 2025, $156 billion worth of data center projects actually faced blocks or delays due to local community opposition. $18 billion were just blocked outright, another $46 billion were delayed by 2 years or more, and the actual opposition rose 125% in just Q2 of 2025, and there are now 142 activist groups across 24 states specifically targeting AI infrastructure. A Wisconsin community tried to recall its mayor over a single data center approval, and Virginia residents are projected to see energy bills rise by $37 per month by 2040 because of data center demand. I mean, when you think about it, if your data centers in your neighborhood were, you know, raising your electricity bill, probably going to replace you, and everyone on the television says that this thing is eventually going to kill us, what incentive do you have to like this technology? And now the craziest thing about this is what I want to emphasize here, is that this moment is so unusual that it's not just like we've got the left or the right, you know, it's one side of politics reacting to AI. It's actually both, okay? You can see here from this article, you know, that when the United States Senate's vote 1991, that's about as close to a total agreement that you're ever going to see in US politics. And what they agreed on wasn't banning AI or shutting down data centers, but it was something more subtle and arguably a bit more important. They refused to give AI companies a 10-year shield from state-level regulation. And in simple terms, both Democrats and Republicans looked at the rapidly advancing technology and they said, look, we're not comfortable letting this scale unchecked. And it doesn't mean they've all got the same fears. On the left, you've got concerns about jobs, safety, and corporate power, and on the right it's more about censorship, state authority, and the distrust of big tech. But think about it, despite those differences, they've converged on the same bottom line: AI is too powerful, moving too fast, and too impactful to leave alone. And that's a real signal here when we look into things on the wider picture. I mean, we can go even further. Hollywood has their own version. In September 2025, a production company debuted what it called the first fully AI-generated actress, Tilly Norwood, and the creator compared her to Scarlett Johansson and Natalie Portman. SAG-AFTRA called her a character trained on the work of countless performers without permission or compensation. And Emily Blunt said, please don't strip us away from our human connections. And now these guys are negotiating something called a Tilly tax, which is a fee on AI synthetic performers to make them cost as much as real actors. And their contract expires 30th of June 2026. And the WGA has written into its current contract that AI is not a writer and nothing it produces counts as literature material. So it will be very interesting to see how that pans out. I mean, we can also take a look at gamers. I mean, if you weren't around for the DLSS 5, this is essentially, I guess you could call it next gen level technology, but some would argue that this is just an AI filter. Essentially what this does is it renders, you know, what you have, and it uses that as the driving material to basically upscale and, you know, make it a little bit more detailed. You use a secondary GPU in your system, sort of render that so you get something that is super high quality, and you can do this stuff in games. And some people are just calling this an AI filter. I mean, this is NVIDIA, and I personally think that this is actually really cool because this is just a filter that you can either apply and, you know, have your graphics upgraded, or you can just leave it off and just play the game as is. So it's completely optional and it's not being forced down anyone's throats. But the problem is that when NVIDIA released this, nobody looked at the actual comments that people were leaving. You can see here that this one actually, I think it even ratioed NVIDIA and it was talking about, this company created animated Gaussian splats, hyper realistic. Meanwhile, Nvidia is giving us AI slop DLSS filters. You can see here that Nvidia's CEO is still in damage control mode after DLSS 5 set the company's gaming reputation on fire last week, and I think their perspective makes sense, and I can see where they're coming from because I don't love AI slop myself. That's what he said in a new interview. And he says, all of the AI generated content increasingly looks familiar, and they're all beautiful, and I'm so empathetic towards what they're thinking. That's just not what DLSS 5 is trying to do. So the point I'm trying to make here, guys, is that you have almost every crevice of, well, maybe not every crevice, but when you think about the vast areas in which people exist, I mean, you've got gamers, you've got politicians, you've got, individuals that are just, having standard jobs that are upset about AI, and then you've got individuals, right here, like I said. I mean, even if we look at past the DLSS 5 issue, you can see here that Sony did something that we never really see this late in a console generation. So instead of prices just going down, every PS5 actually just jumped by about 20%. And the main reason isn't just like, plastic suddenly just got more expensive. It's that the memory chips inside these consoles are the same kind of high-speed RAM being bought in the ridiculous quantities for AI data centers. And when those AI servers are willing to pay anything to get those chips, everyone else gets hit with shortages and higher component costs, and companies like PlayStation pass that on straight to the consumer. So when you see PS5 prices go up this hard, this late, a big part of why you're really paying so much is part because of the global AI arms race. Now, you can see this tweet here that says, "You don't hate AI data centers enough." And like I said, when you have every area of AI permeating through many different subcultures and causing issues, I think we can start to understand why the AI hate is only continuing as the tech becomes more capable. And I don't want this to be the case. I think Silicon Valley should be doing a better job of at least marketing this and at least rolling out the tech in a way that is at least pro-human. I mean, take a look at this, okay? Let's say you just don't take my anecdotal research for it and you think that I'm complete, hogwash or whatever. Let's take a look at this article, okay? So, I mean, if we look at the polls, okay, a Quinnipiac University poll from March of 2026 said that 55% of Americans believe that AI will do more harm than good in daily life. And that's up 11 percentage points in a single year. I mean, that is absolutely astounding. 70% believe AI will reduce job opportunities, up from 56% just a year before, and 80% said they're concerned about AI's development, and only 6% said they feel very excited about AI's future. I mean, think about that, guys. This is why I said this situation is only going worse. And I think that, what we're moving towards now is a situation where any company that is fully embracing AI, they're going to face what I would call an AI tax, because yes, AI does make you more effective, but if people can visually see that you're using AI, it's arguably going to become worse for you as humans start to have this disdain for it as things get worse before they eventually get better. Now, like I said, I do think AI is going to do great things for society eventually in 10 to 20 years. Overall, the back end of AI being able to find, cures, make society more efficient, solve some of society's biggest issues that humans aren't really able to solve. But like I said, before all of that happens, it's going to get worse. And when the backlash gets worse, you can see that there's essentially going to become a human-made element. So, I mean, there was like this branding study where they look at, brands that are increasingly highlighting human-made origins in their advertising. And this is a response to growing public uncertainty about creativity in the age of AI, which shows the signal in a cultural shift where authenticity and human intention are valued over machine-generated efficiency, even as AI capabilities advance. So, I mean, honestly, when we take a look at this entire situation, I think it's clear what is happening. The tech is advancing so rapidly, and people are just being really tone deaf with how they roll the technology out. When you have 55% of Americans saying that it's going to do more harm than good, and it's actually increased by 11% on the year, that isn't a statistic that you do want to ignore. I would say that the Silicon Valley companies that are developing this, they need to do a better job of developing technology that actually works with humans rather than against them. And I'm pretty sure those are going to be the companies in the future that succeed. If you guys have enjoyed this video, I'd love to know your thoughts and comments about what you think about the AI backlash. Are people's fears and concerns valid, or are people just simply Luddites? That being said, I'll see you guys next video.